So I'm here with the folks at D'Angelico at Summer NAMM 2016. We're checking out the Deluxe series, and I have the pleasure to be here with these guys. What's your name, sir?
Mike Johnson. I'm the National Sales Manager for D'Angelico. And Dusty Barber.
Hi, I'm the Brand Ambassador for D'Angelico.
You're the guy who makes these things sound perfect. Is that what happens? I keep walking around this booth and I just see sold, 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 sold. Give us a little backstory of D'Angelico, how you guys came up and how long you've been doing it.
Sure. Yeah, D'Angelico is an iconic brand, an iconic name. John D'Angelico, came from a long line of Italian makers, and they originated from Italy, which is the Cremona district where where Antonio Stradivari learned to play violin. So they started out building arch-topped instruments, but they weren't guitars. Ultimately, John D'Angelico's uncle was building arch-top instruments, and that segued into John building arch-top guitars. So that was that natural evolution from the violin to the arch-top instrument. So they weren't copying anybody. They were actually innovating the instruments. And in the 30s, 40s, and 50s, it was absolutely the guitar to go to. I won't say all, but many of the iconic guitar players, from Django Reinhardt to Johnny Smith to just so many players. I mean, it was the most coveted instrument on the planet. Unfortunately, John passed in 1963, but in the 30s, 40s, 50s, and into the 60s, he built the most exquisite instruments on the planet. And a number of years ago, the brand was purchased by a guy that was a very, very staunch admirer of the D'Angelico line and the history and the legacy of the product. And so he's bringing that back to market. As of about 3 years ago, they started building guitars again. And we build a variety of different price ranges and stuff, but the quality is always absolutely number one, and the design is always number one. We're not doing any guitar-shaped objects. We're building real serious guitars for serious players.
These look like serious guitars. So tell me about this guitar you have in your hands here.
Yeah, these are actually, this is a prototype. They will be coming out hopefully in the fall. I don't want to make a liar out of myself, but that's our goal, is to have them in the stores by October or November. But this is the new XL Deluxe series, and they're in a really cool finish. It's called a Midnight Matte. We use a variety of different pickups in them. This particular model has, of course, the Bixby tailpiece you can see. It also has what we call a DA-Tron pickup, which emulates another pickup that you might be familiar with. On the back side of the headstock, you'll notice we have locking machine heads.
Nice.
And of course, beautifully bound with multi-ply binding. One of the super features of this guitar is that the pickup selector switch, and I'll have Dusty play a little bit as we're going here. It's actually like a three-way switch that you'd find on a Les Paul or on an ES335, but it's a three-way, so just like what you're familiar with. When you go over here, it gives you 3 single coils.
All the way down, one over, splits this in half. That kind of sound. So it's amazing the vast differences from say Wes Montgomery.
It makes you play differently too, kind of. If you have the different tone, it's like it turns you into another guitar player.
It really does. It does. It certainly does.
It's awesome, man.
So the other things that you don't see is that we're actually using a Jescar fret and a Graphtec nut. So this thing is engineered from stem to stern, and we think it's the Swiss Army knife of guitars. We don't care what kind of guitar you have. If you were to show up at a gig or a studio gig and they told you to bring one guitar, this guitar can do so many things. Like I said, it's the all-in-one tool for a serious guitar player. And the message we want to tell the world about guitar players is that arch-top guitars are very relevant. They have the capability of feeding back at will at lower levels than solid body guitars do, but the most important thing is the tone. Because with guitars, all you can do is take away the tone. You can mask the tone of it. You can't add in tone without adding noise. These guitars are so much more resonant. There's so much more amplitude to the harmonics. When you take a solid body guitar and just plug this guitar into the same settings, you'll hear such a much richer tone. And that's what it's about, because that's where the character of the music comes from.
D'Angelico will expand your tone. I think that's the message here. Now, can you demonstrate, just kind of go play a lick, same lick on each different pickup selection? And just say which pickup selection you have.
Okay, so basically we'll start at the top right here. We've got the neck position. way down. Then we move over that way.
Okay.
So I got to play a telly lick.
Do it.
Then you go up one. It's a little more acoustic-y sounding.
Yeah, that's like piezo elements.
Yeah.
I like it better though.
All the way up is going to split this one. Or a little bluesy. You know, that kind of thing.
That's sharp, man. That's awesome.
So that's the 6 ways.
Yeah.
The 6 different positions.
And then these knobs down here, are they?
These are actually ebony. And the cool thing about the Angelico guitars, cosmetically, they're very unique. From the split pin on the top with the cupola, to the stair-step design on the machine heads,
Yep.
to the little, we call this a Scalini pick guard, which is like small steps in Italian. And so it has all these Art Deco features to it that are just iconic and take you back to when guitars were built in a way that we didn't think we'd ever see again.
Beautiful.
But don't think that it can't rock out because
Just gonna ask you now.
tune down.
Dropping it.
It can rock out.
It's versatile. Can't you hear the versatility?
They're loving it.
Yes.
Wes Montgomery to Danny Gatton to Korn. You know what I
Oh
mean?
man. Wes Montgomery to Korn, D'Angelico guitars. Can't go wrong. Well, is there anything else that you would like to convey to the people watching about D'Angelico guitars or
You know,
any otherwise?
Really, and honestly, I've been 43 years in the business, worked for a lot of different companies. I shouldn't say that. I've worked for some very dedicated people, but never worked for anybody more dedicated to the product, to the music, and to helping great players create great music with great instruments. We are just not going to settle for anything less than the best. And if you play our product, I think you'll know that's true.
And he didn't know he was being interviewed before this, so this man's speaking straight from the heart.
Yes, he is.
It's the only way to do it.
Passionate, awesome D'Angelico guitars in New York. Check them out online. You can't get anything here because they're all already sold, but what is your website?
D'AngelicoGuitars.com.
Easy enough. All right. Thanks a lot, guys.
Out. Thank you so much.
Truly been a
Thank you,
pleasure.
man. Very much my pleasure.
Thank you so much,
Fantastic
Tyler.
playing.
Thank you.
Sounds great, man. All right.
Great hanging with you
We're
guys.
out.
Thank you, Bethany.